Now in today's video, we will once again create a procedural noise, but this time using an ecosphere. Now I will first delete my default cube and let's add an ecosphere. Now I will go to geometry nodes. I will first expand this section like we always do and we'll click on new. We'll get the group input and the output. Now the first thing that I want to do is I want to subdivide mesh. What this will do is basically it will divide our triangles into one further layer of points and edges. So if I just go to my wireframe mode, this is how it looks like. If I make it level 0, not level 2, this will add further details. So the level 0 is our default ecosphere with the triangles, and this is our level 1. Level 2 is even more interesting, but I think level 1 is good for now. So what I would like to do now is I will add a set position. And in the set position, we will play with our offset. And let's also go back to our default viewport. So we want to change the offset. If I change now, all the points will be having the same offset. This is not what we want. What we want is the different points should have different offsets. So what we can do is we can drag it and we will add a noise. And this is some sort of a weird effect that we are seeing now. Now, why is this coming? This is coming because the noise value is generally between 0 and 1, and we have offset in the x, y, and z direction. So when the noise value is being superimposed on the x, y, and z, this is a natural sort of an effect. It will have displacements in the x, y, and z direction, like whichever is the value of the noise. Now we can smoothen it by decreasing the scale from 5 to, let's say, if I change it like that, it will show some sort of an animation, not a very good one, but a lower value of the scale will be more smooth, and so for the details. But this is still not what we want. What we want is any point can uniformly move. This is something that we want. Basically, a scale of 0 to 1 is not good, but a scale of -1 and 1 is actually fine because the point can move between -1 and +1. So this will look more uniform across all directions. So how can we get an effect like that? So what we can do is we can drag the offset and add a vector math. And now we have three individual values. And so basically the x, y, and z values are divided like this. Now let's also drag this further and we'll add a combine x, y, z. Now what we can do is we can plug the factor individually to the x, y, and z. So what we can do is we can just plug it like this. And now this will only basically have all the noise in the x direction. So we will have nothing in the y. So to see how it looks like, we can change the noise from 3D to 4D, and we will have an additional parameter W. And by changing the value of the W, this is like a seed or something like that, we can see some sort of an animation. Now let's make it 1. What we can do is we can plug it with a scene time, and basically it will factor in the seconds. Every second, the value of the W will change, and we will have an animation like this. But what we want is the same thing for the y and the z also. So what we can do is we can just plug the same value for the y and the z, and it will have this sort of an effect. But it is still not between 0 and 1. It is between I mean it is still between 0 and 1, not between -1 and +1. So what we can do is we can basically add a minus zero point 0.5 in all three places. Minus zero point 0.5. Yeah. So now the scale is between minus zero point 0.5 and plus zero point 0.5. And if we want between -1 and +1, we only have to add a scale and make the scale as 2. But I think the default scale is better between minus zero point 0.5 and zero point 0.5. So this is how it would look like. So this is not half bad, I will say. Um, so what we have to do is we have to add some good colors and shaders. That's all. There is one more issue, I will say, and that is basically the x, y, and z has the same value of the noise. Maybe this is something that we don't want. Or maybe this is something that we want. I don't know. Depends on how you want to do it. So what we can do is we can basically copy the noise. What's the issue? Yeah. So we will copy the noise and we will separately factor with our y and the z. Lots of weird behaviors are happening. My bad. Anyway, so yeah, so let's plug the seconds with this w and the other w also. Now we will have separate noise for the x, y, and z. And yeah, I think this is more logical than the other one. That is what I believe. And what we can do more is, I think the scale, we can decrease it further, something like zero point 0.5. And the same thing we have to do for the others also, something like zero point 0.5 and zero point 0.5. Detail, I think 1 is fine. If I make it 2, how will it work? Well, let's make the detail as 2. I think detail can be higher, but the scale should be lower. Yeah, very small movement, but I think this is good. Now let's do one thing. The render engine will be Eevee, that's fine. We will go to the shading node and let's go to render mode and let's fix our camera. So we'll click on camera to view. We'll click on the camera and we will zoom in a little bit, something like this. Yeah. So now what we can do basically is we can click on new and we will have a material one. Now we do have to attach it in our geometry nodes also. So in the geometry nodes, what we will do is in the end, after the set position, we will do a set material. And in the set material, we will add the material one. Now, if I go to the shading node once again, what I would like to do is the value of the roughness should be 0.1. That is, it should be shiny. And let's make the transmission as 1. So this is how it is looking like right now. And when it comes to the world, let's decrease it down. And now everything is dark. So how can we add an interesting effect? What we can do is we have the light and we can bring the light at the center that is inside the object. And then we will have a very interesting effect like this. So what I can do is now in the light, I can change the light from, let's say, change the light to blue. And this is how it would look like. So this is how I made the animation that I showed at the beginning of the video. So what you can do now is basically give it some interesting colors, maybe add few more lights like some headlight, rim light, whatever light, backlight, and see what kind of effects we are getting. Now, the remaining things I would like to leave it to you. And that is it for this video. And I will see you soon with another very interesting video. So see ya.